Welcome to the Schofield Truth. I'm Susan Schofield, here with my daughter, Janie, and my husband, Corey Cabana. We're still dispelling all the myths out there and rumors about our family that have been over the internet for years due to my daughter's diagnosis of schizophrenia at such a young age. Now, Corey, you wanted to chime in about that.
Yeah, I just want to try to explain a little bit better. People don't understand why did you put things on the internet? And what you did was you just tried to show someone else who might be going through something similar how your day goes and what happens with your children in this event and this event. And basically it was more of chronicalizing a moment of our day.
It was educational to me. I was interested in what was happening here. I was living this, and I thought, I met all these other parents who were going through this as well, that because I was searching for people who got it, and Janie knows. Remember, we had a whole bunch of families that
we did, and see, when I was little, because of my illness made me push my friends away. And at least 10 years later, I had the Janie Foundation parties.
We created the Janie Foundation, which was giving parties to kids with special needs. It was socialization over isolation. So we brought all of these kids and families together, and it was great.
Well, and basically, after I came home, after that year and a half in custody, because I hadn't been able to be in touch with the friends that I had, they kind of drifted away a little bit. So now I'm trying to get friends back because I don't want to be that 20-year-old girl who has no friends.
You're not going to be that. Janie, you're way too social. That's not going to happen to you. In episode 3, she took us through her experience at Maryvale, the so-called therapeutic group home that has more similarities to juvenile hall than anywhere else. Now,
it's pre-juvenile hall.
Right.
Yeah.
What did I call it? Prison prep.
Yep, prison prep.
But before we get to that, actually, we are going to talk about the evening that Janie was assaulted by 2 girls, and she had to get stitches. 7 in her chin. But before we get to that, of course, we like to always have some fun.
With Janie's Jeopardy.
That's right.
Number 1, the babysitting gig pays about $60,000 a year and promises bonus bucks for placement.
That would be social worker.
Yep.
LA County social workers, they get not only a regular salary from the government, but they get bonuses to place children into group homes, foster care.
Bonuses to take a child,
yes.
Bonuses to place a child, bonuses to have a child adopted out. These are paid by the federal government.
Yeah, and we'll get into more details about that in future podcasts, how that all works, because that was very...
we'll show it.
Yeah, we'll show that. Okay, so Janie, what is our next answer?
Children who are court-ordered to these group homes where they are starved and beaten as a form of punishment.
What is?
Suitable placement.
Yep. Yes, suitable placement. We got that on how many reports? In fact, every single report that came in against me, because they all come in against me, said the children are suitably placed. And this is all going on. Janie's assaulting others. They're assaulting her.
Well, I want to say that Janie went from her home where there was, a locked door on the front door to the apartment, but that was the extent of it. And now she lives in a place where the front door is locked and she doesn't have a key. And then the hallway door is locked and she doesn't have a key.
The bathroom was locked too.
The bathroom is locked. She doesn't have a key. The stairway is locked and she doesn't have a key. Her room is locked and doesn't have a key. Did they lock you in your room at night? Was your door closed and locked?
Not at night, but whenever I was quote unquote misbehaving, then they would.
Of course.
Yeah. And what happened during those times?
One time they actually locked me in my room with my most hated roommate. Her name, I'm not going to say her name.
No.
But I hated her more than any other roommate I had. and she was the one I was locked in the room with. It was like, it's like you're in prison and that's the inmate that you hate the most.
And that's the thing. She was taken from Valencia High School, public high school, put into a lockdown facility. She's committed no crime.
But these girls that were with her, they hadn't committed crimes either. But what they did do is they ran away from home. They got in trouble, and it caused enough commotion to get them out of where they were and placed into Maryvale. Maryvale is the pre-jail. It's the pre-juvenile hall. It's where they go before they actually have to go to a juvenile facility. It's, it's
and
the pre-step.
These kids, I mean, in all fairness, they come from bad environments, or who knows, maybe DCFS made mistakes. We don't know, because we don't know everybody's story, because all we know is what the social workers say. So anyway, Janny, what's the third one?
The term the judge used to describe 38 incident reports where I was restrained from assaulting others.
What is thriving?
Yes, that's thriving.
We touched on that in the last episode. In fact, I remember August 2nd of 2019 when it was the end of the jurisdiction disposition hearing. And on that morning, actually, he was saying that, don't you understand? Your daughter is thriving right now.
Yeah, they're doing so well.
On that very day, when I looked back at the report that came in for the next one.
That was the day I broke the clock.
Right.
And tried to cut her wrist.
Right. There was an incident.
That morning.
There was an incident while the judge was speaking.
And we didn't find out until a couple months later.
And the thing is that, we would see bruises. We would see, shin scrapes. We would see bruises on the legs and, cuts on the fingers and scrapes on the wrists and the forearms.
Now, the problem is when I would react to this, I would be like, oh my God, what happened? And I would say it like that. And I would get angry. I would yell sometimes. And they would write that down. Mother's overreacting again.
Right. It's like any reaction is an overreaction, and
we can't trust her because she keeps overreacting.
Right. Every report does say that mother tends to overreact and exaggerate. And what's funny about that is everything that she's said in every report that's ever been written about behaviors, it's exactly what everyone else is saying. So who exactly is over-exaggerating?
Yeah, because now we have
everyone.
Foster moms
social
all
workers,
over the place
everyone.
that have lived with Janny, and I can't talk about my open case. But
actually, to clarify, I only had one foster home.
That's true, and hers was a great one. But all of the foster parents across the board know that I never exaggerated symptoms.
Right.
They have their reports, what they say matches mine.
Anyone who actually lives for 24 hours in close proximity to Janny will know right away that there is no over-exaggeration. If anything, it's under-exaggerated.
All right, so now, Janny, what is the last answer?
The word the court used to describe when two girls grabbed my legs, dropped me on the floor, and I had to get 7 stitches in my chin.
You're going to love this. What is?
Roughhousing.
No, that's not it.
Oh, horseplay.
What is horseplay?
Sorry, horseplay.
It's okay.
Oh my goodness, horseplay.
Horseplay.
Yes,
I love that one. Again, mother over-exaggerated. What happened during that quote-unquote horseplay activity, Janny?
Well, they cracked my chin open like an egg, and...
What happened that led to...
Oh, well, I came back from an outing, and immediately after coming back from the outing, I had an episode. So I ran around the entire place into the lobby, and I hid so no one would find me, but they did. And 2 girls and 1 staff came down. And the girls each took 1 leg. They pulled back, I face planted on the floor, and my chin cracked open like an egg, blood everywhere.
And they had to rush you to the hospital. And again, I read all the medical reports. I was lucky to get them at that time. to San Gabriel Hospital, and the ER, it was the nighttime, right? It was Sunday night or Saturday night?
Yes, it was. I think it was a weekend. I don't remember the day, but I know it was very late at night. I didn't the incident happened around 10:30.
Okay.
And I didn't return to Maryville until like 1 a.m.
Yeah.
Because I had to get the stitches and everything.
That's what I was going to come into. You had told me that when you first met your foster parents, who we will not name, and they're wonderful, wonderful people, what did they say when they first saw your stitches?
Really, they didn't say anything. They just stared. They stared at my chin, thinking, what happened?
Yeah. And here's another thing. They, in the court order, all of that, you know, Janny wasn't supposed to be filmed at all. And of course, you know, I took what I could. But where did they take you, Janny? Remember, you're not supposed to be filmed at all. But where did they take you? Because there was...
Oh, yes. In December of 2019, right before I went to my foster home, the Maryville staff, or one of them, took me to an ABC Studios Christmas party.
For troubled teens.
And they were on film.
So again,
ABC News was broadcasting, talking about, you know, all the foster children that ABC is caring for at the moment. Look, they're having fun. And there was Janny hopping around.
Incredible. You think that it can't get beyond this crazy, but it does. We haven't said everything. So Janny, what did you do at the Christmas party?
Really nothing. I just got a bunch of 4-year-old toys.
Yeah, that's right. 4-year-old toys.
And your current, what would you say the appropriate age of your being was right then?
Maybe not 4, but 6, definitely.
Yeah, every time they brought her in, when she was allowed to come into court, you know, she was with coloring books and crayons, and they were guiding her in.
Stuffed bunnies.
Yeah, stuffed bunny. Remember Querteme, right?
Oh, yeah. Now, what's funny is that stuffed bunny, you know, they used that in Maryvale. Actually, didn't it start in Wayfinder? And they used it to keep her calm.
They got about 20 of them for you. So every time you destroyed one. Yeah.
And she would lose it when she didn't have Querteme.
For Querteme. What does that mean, Janny, Recuerdame?
I got it from Coco. It means remember me.
Ah, okay.
But basically, it's a little tiny stuffed animal, stuffed rabbit. And you know, if she didn't have that when they first put her in Maryvale, when she didn't have that...
Actually, to clarify, it was not Wayfinder. I got that at an Easter party at Maryville.
Okay.
Really? Okay, because they had more. I remember they said they were packed.
They said they had a room full.
Yeah.
And they replaced it about 20 times because you went crazy. You went nuts.
I have to say something else too, which we have not touched on in this beautiful, great, suitable placement and all that, where you were thriving. Was there a time that you took off your clothes at all?
Definitely.
Tell us about that.
Well, sometimes I would actually climb they had an electric fence, and I would climb it naked.
And again, this is stuff that Janny used to do.
Suitable placement. This is what they call a suitable placement. She was able to escape from a locked outside, you know, exit door. And she was able to get outside, and she starts stripping off her clothes and running across the lawn and jumping on the fence, trying to climb it. And it has an electric wire at the top of it to, you know, help prevent. And it was on. But, you know, this is what she did all the time, and this is what they considered suitable. And we considered it
This 11-year-old girl that was doing her laundry at the same time as me, she was sick, and I was trying desperately not to get sick. And she touched one of my clothes, so I threw that shirt away because I didn't want to get sick. And then that just turned out to be a shirt that I really loved. And I just went off.
And now there were times where you, and I was surprised they wrote this in the reports because I know they were trying to hide everything. But wasn't there a time where you took off your bra and just started running around?
Yeah. Although I never took off my underwear.
Okay, so you just took off your bra, and where did you run to?
Really nowhere, except trying to run back to you.
That's another thing I want to bring up really quickly. What was happening during all this time in Maryville? You were trying to get back to me. I could not do anything because I would have been arrested had Janny even come home. And if I kept her there, I would have been arrested for abducting her. So what happened, though, where you tried to get away and come back to me?
I ran at my maximum speed. I opened the gate, ran off, trying to get back to you.
So we do have a video of Janny talking, because luckily we were able to get to see you with the stitches, and she told us everything that had happened, and we were able to record that. Thank God one of the other social workers who's been really great during this whole thing, he let us take that video, thank God. So anyway, we're going to get to, Janny also would take her clothes off and run around naked and all of that, but one thing we want to get to is, and you were going to bring this up, about when they took her off all the medication. They didn't just take you off all the medication. What else did they do?
Well, they also took her off of her birth control pills. Now, she wasn't on birth control pills specifically to protect her from birth control. She was on birth control pills because her endocrinologist wanted to kick in the hormones, because her body was 13 and her age was 16, and he could tell by looking at the x-ray of her fingers and seeing how far the bones were apart to tell whether or not she was her true and accurate age. And so the birth controls provided the hormones that her body needed, and that's when she actually started kicking into, the woman,
Right. And I want to get to something too.
I know what I want.
Yes, go ahead, Janny.
Because they took me off my birth control, I started to worry at Maryville that I might get pregnant too early. And another thing that happened that really scared me was I went 7 months without my menstrual cycle. And that's really scared me, because my thought was maybe I got raped in my sleep or something. I don't know. Because I thought maybe somehow I was pregnant. Because 7 months without a period is not normal.
No, and that had never happened to her before.
Well, she just started.
Yeah,
she had just started less than a year before.
But her birth control did keep her on until they took her off. They took her off everything. And
it was used as hormone therapy, which is what it's supposed to do. So it was doing its job.
So anyway, we have video, though, like I said, that I want to get to about you talking to us.
About the chin.
About her chin.
The chin.
We're going to get to that, and we'll come right back. So what happened, Janny?
Okay, I'm saying that two girls, I was running out of bounds. That's how it all started. That's how the minutes started to lead up. Okay, so I was basically running out of bounds at like 10 p.m., 10:30, 10:30, and then one overnight staff and two girls, one extremely reckless. She's like reckless. And she said, what she did, I was running out of bounds, and that out of bounds trip turned into horse playing. At first I was having fun. I really was. I'm not playing. And then it turned into danger, because they started to drag me. Each girl had 1 foot, because there was two. And then they decided to let go. And as a matter of fact, at the same time, I was trying to run out again, because they had me contained near the kitchen. And that's when it all started to go down. And then when I saw all that blood, I was because they let go at the same time as I started to run off. I don't know what it was due to. So then I was like, no. And then, like, once I saw it, like, it was not a lot of blood at first, and then it just kept coming.
It's right where your other one was.
In the exact same place. My life is literally repeating itself.
That's what I was thinking.
In the opposite direction. It's going the opposite direction.
Okay, we're back. When you see that video of you, Janny, what do you think when you see yourself with stitches explaining?
Well, I see myself with blue wire in my chin.
Yeah. And it was a bad time, but this whole thing was a nightmare. What did you want to tell us about?
Okay, yes.
I was thinking about.
Well, this was at Maryvale. I'm not going to say names. Well, actually, I didn't even know her name. But there was a 17-year-old girl at Maryvale who already had 4 kids. And then I was like, oh no.
And that's the thing that we realized too, of course, these kids, if they're like Janny being taken off birth control and they get raped, where do the kids go?
Or another way,
back into the system.
Although
it feeds itself.
Although another way to get pregnant is, in that situation, is say a girl has a boyfriend and the boyfriend wants a kid and will leave her if she doesn't get pregnant.
So that happened too, I guess.
Yep, and then the girl's on her own again.
She knows so much. I mean, she came from Valencia High School, and I mean, it's a public school, middle class, middle of the road, and she's in a setting that is.
Yes,
she learned a lot.
Yep,
She's cultured.
I did. I did learn a lot, and I also learned a lot about gangs.
Yeah,
because these girls, pretty much all of them, were former gang members.
And we're going to go into more of that in future programs, but we're going to wrap it up right now. Thank you so much for joining us on the Schofield Truth. You can find out more about what we're doing on theschofieldtruth.com. Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye.